Hello and welcome. Today we're going to be, well, first off, I'm Jared Purcell. I'm a dietitian. I'm based out of Santa Fe, New Mexico, in beautiful Santa Fe, New Mexico. Um, I've been a dietitian for 10 plus years in various settings. Um, with this program, this class, we're going to be talking about mainly weight loss and how do we obtain that. Um, so thank you and welcome. Thank you for joining. I really appreciate it. Um, I'm so glad to have you here and that you guys started this process with me. I'm really excited. Um, Today, this is class one. So in class one, we're going to be talking about um, uh, basically motivation, goals, and then how to achieve those and how to stay on track, basically. Once again, I'm really excited that you joined me. Thank you so much. It's so appreciated. Um, and I'm really excited that we can work together to meet your goals. Um, so let's kind of get started here. Um, First and foremost, let's talk about motivation. So um, it's great you're here. So that means that you signed up um, and there was some sort of monetary exchange to get to this point. So that's wonderful. So there already is that first step, that first motivational step. Um, so that's wonderful. You're there. Um, the thing that I oftentimes tell all my patients, my clients, is motivation has to be one of the biggest, has to be the biggest thing. If you don't have motivation, unfortunately, uh, we won't probably succeed in what some of our goals are. I can't make you do things. Only you can do those things, obviously. I'm here to help with any education, counseling, support that I can give for weight loss or just getting healthy through nutrition. So um, the main thing is when you when 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 you start this journey, um, there there has to be some sort of motivation in order to succeed. Um, Sometimes that wax and wanes, and that's part of the process. Don't get discouraged. Um, I think I had one person tell me one time that one day they're super motivated, and then the next morning they wake up and they're not motivated at all, and it can change just like that. Um, that's where I'm here to help kind of steer you or continue that motivation because that's what's going to lead you to the success. This is a marathon; it's not a sprint. Um, and so I think where the motivation comes in is oftentimes I think people when they want to lose weight, they want to do 30 pounds in 30 days, and that's not sustainable. Um, they may be super motivated initially, and they get that weight off quickly, and then all of a sudden, and maybe unhealthy actually, all of a sudden they gain that weight back real quick, and that's called yo-yo weight loss, and that's actually more detrimental to your health than not losing any weight at all. Um, so that is a example of having continual motivation. So that's really important. And I think what you want to do to set yourself up for success is a support system. That helps with motivation. Um, Making your goals obtainable. That's really helps with motivation. Meeting some of your goals, meeting small ones. Um, that continues. That gives your brain the those signals that it wants to light up and get excited. So to continue that excitement. Um, that's really important as well. Um, so that's kind of the motivational piece to all of this. Um, and so it's real important to continue that. If you're lacking motivation, um, if you just kind of see yourself down in the, a little bit down, reach out to me, um, reach out to a friend, reach out to a family member to help you get motivated to accomplish your goals. So that's really important. The second thing that we're going to talk about here is goals. So we, I think a lot of people have some sort of goals in their life, and this is no difference with weight loss or health. Um, First and foremost, you want to make your goals obtainable. Well, sorry, let's step back. There's short-term goals and then there are long-term goals. So perhaps a long-term goal is I'd like to lose 10 pounds. That's great. Um, that's a good obtainable goal. Um, Now, a short-term goal would be something like I'm going to drink 8 glasses of water every day. I'm going to eat 5 servings of fruits and vegetables per day. You know, those are the short-term things that you can accomplish. So when I'm working with people, my clientele, I may see them 1 month apart, and we set short-term goals. So that would be things like I just described: drink more water, eat more vegetables and fruits. Um, Whatever, eat more fiber, whatever it could be, that are obtainable for the next session, which is typically a month away. So that's the short term, the definition of short term and long term goals. Now, when you're setting your long term goals, what's really important is to think about how you can obtain those, or setting your expectations, in the right place. So if for some reason, let's say, example is, let's say we have somebody that's 270 pounds and they want to get down to 170. That's a 100-pound weight loss. That's really, that in of itself can be difficult. And even though that person hasn't been to 170 since they were, 15 years old. So when you set your goals, think about what's obtainable. Just a 10% decrease in your weight can significantly improve your health outcomes. So for our example that we just used, that would be 27 pounds. And that significantly decreases chances of comorbidities, diabetes, cardiovascular disease, those types of things. So that's a fairly obtainable goal. If you set yourself a goal of 100-pound weight loss, and you don't meet that, that can discourage you and actually go the opposite way to where you're gaining more weight. You kind of get the idea, but that's where we want to set ourselves up for success. Also, time frame. Like I said in one of my examples, 30 pound, a pound per day isn't really an attainable thing. Some people can do it. Maybe that you watch The Biggest Loser and you see that they do it, and so that's what you want to do. But what happens is when you have that rapid weight loss, people tend to gain it back, and it gets worse. So you gain more. Maybe you've even felt that before. And once you start gaining that weight, it starts. Think about it. It starts cascading, and it just kind of goes off the rails, and you just start gaining more in weight. And then you throw up your hands. You say, well, whatever. I can't do it. So, with that said, just make your goals obtainable, and that's where the short-term goals come in as well. I can't tell you enough. Most people that I work with, it's as simple as drinking more water. I always say this, and you hear me say this again, but eating 5 fruits and vegetables servings per day, and getting some movement daily. And that will make a big difference in your life. Believe me, it will. And you might say, well, that's too simple. We want to keep it simple. We want you to achieve your goals. Now, you're probably asking, well, how do I make my goals? Well, so let's take I kind of got ahead of myself, but let's take a step back and let's look at what the problem is. So Not that everything's a major problem, or you want to get disgusted with yourself or feel guilty, um, but there are some things that we can do in our diets, our lifestyle, that we can do to change a little bit, tweak, to improve our health outcomes. So um, I want you, as an exercise, I want you to think about, I want you to look at your full picture of what's going on in your life. Um, do you work a lot? Do you work 50, 60 hours a week? Okay, so you're strapped for time. Maybe you have young kids. Um, maybe, most people don't have a whole lot of time. And so that's a common denominator um, for most people. So next, look at what your current diet is. Do you eat out at a restaurant 4 to 5 times a week? Do you eat, do you have kind of ultra highly processed meals that you eat on a daily basis? Look at it. Sometimes what's really helpful is to do food diaries, and all of you have access to the food diaries and practice better. Um, and so you can journal there. And I can see that as well. And so I can give you some feedback if you'd like. Some people do really well with the food journals, some people don't. But what I always tell people is that in order to get a good idea of what's going on, you at least need to do a full week, 1 to 2 weeks, to get a really good idea. And you need to do work days versus weekend days, or the days that you're off. And that way you can see the difference, because there's always a major difference between um, when you work and there's a little bit of structure, and then when you don't. So that's really important. So um, that's kind of where you want to go, is to figure out what is going on. Um, Other aspects: are you exercising daily? What type of exercise? Are you trying to maintain your muscle mass? As we age, we decrease our muscle mass. Um, so those are all things that you want to look through. And there's some forms through the modules or the classes in class 1 that you can do exercises to help you define some of those goals. Uh, so um, that's really important. And so first off, you need the motivation. Then you need to figure out what's going on. You can't fix a pipe unless you know where it's broken. So um, think about what's going on currently, and don't overthink this. I can't tell you enough. Some of these things are simple, um, and maybe you think it's too simple. That's okay. Um, when we have something that's, like, sometimes it's just drinking more water, honestly. And so, that could be it. I think I've said this, a couple times already in the video, but you just got to look through and see what the potential issue is. Okay. Okay. So you got the motivation. You figured out what was going on with kind of your lifestyle. You implemented some goals. Okay. So now we have some goals. We defined some short-term goals, which could be a week to a month. And then you set your long-term goals of what you want for your health. Um, okay, so now we've implemented all of that. Now you need to create a plan. Um, so a plan to achieve your goals, basically. So a plan can be difficult because it's not black and white, meaning you may have to change your plan as you're moving forward. So, for example, there's some things that we can do. Some people like to have, they use the food journals. They like to know how many calories they should have daily. We could do that. Figure out a total daily calories. Some people really do not want any calories, and sometimes it's detrimental to people knowing how many calories, because what happens is that they have these daily goals, and if they go over that, then they get they feel guilt, they feel like they're not meeting their goals, and then it kind of does the opposite of what should happen. So you kind of have to play with that. You have to think about who you are, and what helps you um, meet your goals, if that makes sense. So think about that. Sometimes it's working on a program where you just increase. Maybe you're only doing 2 servings of vegetables a day, and you need to increase that. Inadvertently, when you increase your fruits and vegetables, you tend to decrease your total caloric density. So a lot of calories, basically. You can decrease your calorie intake just by that, but you still feel full. So, and that's a different class that we'll talk about, is actually the composition of foods. What's carbohydrate, protein, those kind of things. But today we're just kind of setting up ourselves for the goal, and making a plan, and then obtaining those things. Okay, so that's one thing. So just think what it is. Maybe you're very sedentary, and so it's just going for a walk for 30 minutes a day. Think about what it is. Kind of look through your what's going on, and and see where you can improve in your health. And I can help you out with this too. Shoot me a message, and I can help you out. So that's important. Now, we're still in the planning phase. So now you have some sort of plan set in place. I've helped you out with that. Maybe your family members have helped you out. Okay. Now, how do we meet our goals with this plan and stick with it? That's the biggest thing, is sticking with it. So many people I see, they can lose weight, they can do it quickly, and they're so excited, and then all of a sudden it just kind of falls off. So think, why do we fall off I guess the wagon, I guess you could call it. I think what happens is that what tends to happen is that people, they end up they get discouraged, if something, even just a little bit goes off the rails, and then they kind of just spiral out. Your brain is set up to where it constantly wants positive feedback. It doesn't want anything negative. It doesn't want to feel uncomfortable. So that's why making attainable goals is really important. So think about that. Other times, I think what happens is maybe certain triggers can cause some people to kind of fall off, and a trigger might be going out to eat. Maybe, so it's not just going out to eat. Sorry, it might be going out to eat with some friends one night, and you're like, hey, whatever, it's one night, it's fine. And then you hang out with those friends again, and all of a sudden you've gone the whole week, and you've gone out and maybe made some poor diet choices, and so then you feel that guilt, and then you continue. You're like, well, I'm already here, so what's another night? What's another nacho? What's another piece of pizza? And it just kind of keeps on going. So when you know that that's going to happen, know that trigger point, and identify it. So know when you get to that point, and think about it. And then once you can identify that, sometimes that helps stopping it. Maybe it doesn't help you stop it, but maybe you could have someone, a buddy, kind of talk you through it. Maybe it's a spouse. Maybe it's a family member. Maybe it's a friend. Maybe it's me. Talk to me. Say, hey, when I go and do this really, I just go out of control, and send me a message. So that's really important. Is figuring out what triggers you to kind of snowball down the hill, if that makes sense. Um, People that are most successful with weight loss tend to find that trigger point and just readjust. Okay, I'm fine. I went out for pizza with my friends, and tomorrow, it's a new day. Um, they don't, and this is probably the most important thing, they don't feel that guilt. You shouldn't feel ashamed of going and having a piece of pizza. You shouldn't feel ashamed of going and getting nachos or tacos or whatever it is, the food, ice cream or dessert or whatever it is. You should never ever beat yourself up, and that's one of the most important things. And also, what's kind of tied into that, and probably should be its own topic, is the body acceptance. Um, know yourself and know that it's okay where your body's at. It's okay to want to have better health outcomes or improve your health. And it's also you have to be comfortable with your body. And I know that's easier said than done, but that's something that we really want you to work with yourself, is kind of going through that things. And I'll have a YouTube video up there for you to take a look at, that can kind of goes through that, and body shaming from other people. So those are important things. Okay. So those, I feel like, are the things that can derail people. So again, it is setting lofty goals, feeling guilt, and just kind of spiraling out of control when they maybe haven't made such a good choice in their mind. Body image, not having a healthy, positive body image. And then just identifying the triggers. If you're unable to identify those, people tend not to be as successful. So as we discussed, figure out which trigger point you have. So those are the, I think for today, in this class, I think that's the most important thing is, and let's recap everything, is you need motivation. You got to figure out, again, I can't do this for you. The best dietitian in the world may not do it for you. Only you can do it for yourself. So motivation is incredibly important. Set yourself up with really good attainable goals, short and long term. Make a plan that's attainable. If your plan doesn't go as according as according to plan, that's okay. Don't feel that guilt. Don't shame yourself. Just pick yourself up, grab a friend, grab a family member, talk it through. Maybe you just need to go for a hike. Whatever it is that you need to reset, then just do it. Remember too, the plan is going to be fluid. You can change this. You need to change this probably in order to accomplish your goals while you're in it. So that's important. And then we just talked about kind of body image and how to obtain all those goals. So that was for today, the class 1. I really appreciate you guys joining me. I'm excited. Please reach out with any questions that you have. Message me, call me, and we can work through this. All right? Well, thank you again, and I look forward to class number 2. Thank you.